Hey everybody, and welcome to Stock Abilities. Today I'm going to be covering a cryptocurrency platform for beginners and professionals alike, and I'm going to break down all the different features of it. This will be covering the Tastyworks crypto trading platform. I'm going to go into as many details as I can, so make sure to watch the whole video to get the whole impact in regards to this platform. But we're going to start right into it here. That it's pretty simple to start here. If you already have a Tastyworks account, you simply go under the My Accounts and you go to the trading preferences and you choose the particular account that you want. As of this video, you can currently only add crypto trading to only one particular broker account, and you simply click the button here to enable it. I've already did this. It gives you some, waivers and things like that that you have to agree to, and then you're all set to trade. You just need to restart your platform if you had it actively open at the given time. You're all set to go, and we're going to jump into what it looks like here. But before we do that, we're going to cover the percentage fees here, which is very important that I'm going to be covering a little bit later in this video here. But as you can see, you have a 1% of total crypto purchase to open and then a total percent crypto sale to close. So basically 1% in, 1% out, and a cap at $10. The benefit of which is that if you are a larger crypto trader, you're only ever going to pay $10 in fees. So if you're trading at least over $1,000, you're going to only spend that $10 in fees. So if you trade 2,000, 3,000, so on and so forth, it's only ever going to basically be the $10 fee. So that's a pretty nice feature there to keep in mind. The downside I'll go into here in just a little bit in regards to the 1% and the 1%, but we're not going to get right into that there. We're going to break down some features that weren't really covered in the tutorial from Tastyworks itself, one of which is the crypto account net liquidity. Now, when you open the account, it says 0 and 0, and you're probably a little bit confused because it's kind of a custodial account tied to a zero hash. And with that custodial account tied to that, essentially the balance in your options account and or whatever kind of cash account or margin account that you have is separate from this particular balance. So until you do an active trade, it will not show up here. So if you traded, let's say, a dollar worth of crypto, you can buy it. As long as it's in your balance, it'll show up here on the sweeps. But once you sell that from that essential sweeps account, it goes back into your normal account balance and it'll just kind of dissipate almost. So you got to watch the counts. I'm sure they're working on that to make it a little bit more clear. But when I had initially started, I was very confused because I uh, came to it. I was told the account is active. I went in and it told me I had a zero balance until I tested the trade, and the trade actually worked with that balance. So it worked pretty efficiently, pretty quickly, but it was just confusing with that. So if you see 000 in there, as long as you have funds in the particular account you tied to that account for the cryptocurrency, you will be able to trade it. And of course, there's going to be a pretty simple, straightforward way to get to it. You go to trade, and then in the trade tab, you go to the crypto tab. Pops up just like this here. And then, of course, there's four different types that they currently have right now actively through the Tastyworks, a Tasty crypto platform, and that's BTC, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And they're all four different types of currencies that you can currently trade in this platform. They say that they're planning on expanding at a later date, but these are the four that you're going to start with. It's not a huge variety, but for a new broker, a new crypto broker, rather, it's a pretty reasonable amount to start with, and these are the pretty common ones and pretty familiar ones that a lot of people are used to. We're going to jump into the next part here. Now, there's only three different types of orders. They plan on doing other order types later on in the future. This is a video because the platform literally just came out for the crypto aspect within the last week or two, where it's publicly available for people to utilize. Now you got market orders, you got limit orders, and you got a dollar market order. If you're not familiar, market orders, you just kind of buy into the given market at that point. But since the market order is a market order, you're buying a market order of that particular share price or whatever you want to call it there, the current value of the crypto coin. So with a Litecoin, for example, you would be paying 151.66 or whatever the average market value is between the bid and the ask. So at the time of the screenshot, if you would have did a market order, you probably would have got filled at 151.10, 151.15, something like that. Somewhere in that range, it kind of just, would fill in that range. Now you got a limit order. You could set a limit order based on, what you want in it. Of course, doing limit orders, you have to do the whole value of the given crypto coin. So this is pretty straightforward there. If you want to buy it, let's say Ethereum at 1,610, and you don't want to buy it until it hits that point, you could set the limit order. Dollar market's a little bit more complicated, and it kind of, in my opinion, is set up kind of harshly for, smaller traders, those with more restricted budgets. But I'm going to go into that really quickly here. That essentially you have the dollar market value, which means that you have to spend at least $1 per each given transaction. Now you're spending the $1 on a fractional share. That's what the estimated quantity is of to the percentage of which you're getting. The problem with that is the fees that I mentioned earlier. Now you get a 1% fee in order to buy the given whatever percentage that you'd like, but then you have a 1% fee to sell as well. So you're already hitting basically a 1% and a 1%. So if you buy $100 worth, you're going to have a $1 fee and a $1 fee. So you're going to have to make up that $2 in fees difference before you're going to be able to close the position, simply because those fees will exceed likely the profits that you're going to make in that range. So that makes it a little bit tougher for those unlimited budgets that are trading under $1,000. Now, if you get to $2,000 or $3,000 worth in regards to the trading that you're making, you're going to have a little bit more variety and a little bit more flexibility in regards to trading in this platform. But if you're trading with $100, $200 and you're trying to scalp, you're going to notice a very common error that you're going to see. And I'll show that to you guys here in just a second. But just some of the other things to cover here is that being as this is cryptocurrency and crypto trading, it's not adherent to the PDC rules. There really isn't any proper official regulation yet for crypto in any major capacity, which means that you can go in and out as many times as you want. The problem is those percentage fees can add up to 1% and the 1% in and out. And then, of course, you have a maximum crypto order of 75,000. And as I was saying with earlier, you have to do at least $1 worth, or in the dollar markets, that's the amount you have to buy is in that dollar market aspect there. You got cryptocurrencies are non-marginable and all positions must be fully paid for. This isn't like your traditional options. This isn't like your traditional cash positions. They're not really federally backed. They're not really anything. So there's risk inherent when you're doing crypto trading in regards to regulation, in regards to everything else happening here in the future. That uh, securities wise, it's not very safe to trade in large sums of money because there's no real backing in case it gets lost, stolen, etc. So that is risk you kind of take. You even sign waivers in that regard. And then for buys within 20% of the current ask, for sales within 20% of the current bid price. And then, of course, all crypto orders based on FIFO and tax lots cannot be specified when closing a crypto position. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Zero Hash is the cryptocurrency custodian, basically the clearing company for your transactions. It's pretty straightforward. Not a lot else to cover in that. And any working crypto order, generally letting limit working order, are inherently good till canceled. So considering that you can trade it for 24/7, it's not going to ever cancel unless you simply change it on your own. Now, this is the common error you're going to come across when you're utilizing the cryptocurrency platform. Uh, for beginners, it's not exactly the most friendly thing. For those more advanced, the simple concept here is that when you initially buy, you cannot literally sell out of your position right after you buy because the fees are going to cost you more than the position was worth, and you need a relatively significant move before you can liquidate that cryptocurrency again. So if you don't get a significant move right after you get in, you might end up being trapped in that position. Now, obviously, this can be a big issue, especially if you were just looking to scalp with some quick profits. But you have to remember that there's the 1% in and 1% out fees. I was testing this with $40 to $50. I had a hard time getting out of that $35 to $40 worth, and then eventually was able to clear out the rest of it. but the short answer is that you would end up getting kind of in a liquid trap in a way in regards to trying to get out. Now, if you are a larger trader, this is not so much a big issue because you'll be capped at that $10 fee, so the fees aren't going to eat up as much. And obviously, when you're trading a larger sum of monies with cryptocurrency, you're going to be making a wider range of loss and wins. Then again, depending on when you get in, how you scale, you can get really easily trapped in this regard. So I would say that Tastyworks is more toned for professionals that know what they're doing, but the platform itself is pretty simple to use for a beginner. So if you're going to be doing beginner trading, I would just stick to Ethereum or Litecoin. I would avoid Bitcoin simply because the massive cost, and I would just do the basic market and limit orders because the dollar market order is going to get you trapped in those, the quarter percentages of trades. And since it's a market order, you're not always going to get your best fill, whereas a limit, you know exactly what you're paying and exactly what you're going to be selling it for later on if it hits that point. So it makes it a little bit easier to liquidate in that regard as a beginner. So dollar market orders, potentially good. The problem is that you better be willing to pay quite a lot in order to properly liquidate and scale in and scale out. And of course, in order to cover the $10 fees and beyond that, so you'd have to spend at least $1,100 just to cover beyond the fees without the fees being so much of an issue, so that you can liquidate those positions with relative ease if you need to scale in, scale out, depending on how the cryptocurrency is fluctuating. And of course, Tasty Charts, if you're not familiar, you can actually watch Bitcoin, you can watch Litecoin, you can watch Ethereum, and you'll be able to watch other cryptocurrencies and chart them as well. Pretty simple platform. It's not as good as Thinkorswim, but it does its job because Thinkorswim actually does not really keep track of cryptocurrencies and charting of them. So, utilizing Tastyworks, you can use the Tasty Charts right in the Tastyworks platform. Currently, they have two promos going on. You can get up to $50 in crypto if you simply deposit and fund your account and do a trade for $50 in crypto. You can get $200 in crypto if you simply join, and you can get into a $1 million crypto giveaway, which is, it's basically a sweepstakes. They're trying to encourage you to fund your account. There's stipulations involved, so make sure to read the terms and service. But essentially, they want you to deposit X number of monies. They want you to hold those X number of monies in the account. They likely bank off the interest, but at the same time, you still get that free bonus. You just have to hold the monies in there probably longer than you'd like. The same thing here so what I was saying here is you get $50 worth of crypto when you fund with 200, or get 200 when you fund with 2,000. Pretty straightforward. You got basically the other aspect here is by simply depositing and trading $50 worth of crypto in your crypto account, you get a $50 credit from the zero hash custodial account. So essentially, if you put 50 in and you trade with that 50, you will get a $50 credit. The catch essentially is that you have to keep that $50 in there for up to 3 months. Obviously, that's a very long time, but it's $50, so it's not really going to affect anything majorly here. But essentially, the end thing here is that by utilizing this Tastyworks platform during these current promos, not sure if they're going to be active depending on when you're watching this video, but essentially you will have access to $250 free in crypto if you join through this broker. I will list the link in the description below. Make sure to follow all the terms and all that kind of stuff to get your max credit, so on and so forth. If you have any questions, you can always contact Tastyworks at the link below. And that's about all I wanted to cover in this video, guys. If you have any other questions about the Tastyworks platform, I will try to do some more of like maybe a live type of recording of the platform later on. But essentially, the last thing I want to say is I would tone this as a kind of beginner-friendly platform, but a costly beginner-friendly platform while it's still beginning. I feel they're going to improve it a little bit later on to make it a little bit more flexible for beginners, but for those a little bit more advanced, the execution times are wonderful. If you've ever used the Tastyworks platform, they execute just about as fast as options trading is. So keep that in mind when you are utilizing this platform. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later on. Have a nice day.